Yeah, I like deliberately use the ChatGPT logo with multiple letters duplicated.
That's
in
hilarious.
It. I was like, that's pretty much what
Boz
we got
Rush.
today. It's BS Rush today.
Oh, okay. Wait, no?
Did you find it? Sorry,
For some reason, I can never reply to anyone's comments. I always get an error. So
Oh,
I don't
yeah?
know if it's how Chris sets it up, or maybe he's the only one allowed to reply. I'm not sure, but I never seem to be able to.
I didn't find it yet.
It's this. I'll post it in here in the
Okay.
chat.
I'm going to see if the YouTube version of this is working or not.
Okay. I got Susan. All right, I have.
Seems to be working on LinkedIn anyway.
All right,
Awesome.
I got it.
I mean, I guess it's awesome. Hey, look at that.
Not
Live.
like any Chris sound effects. Like you might.
I know, yeah, all right. Should we make some? Welcome to
Chris is listening and cringing somewhere right now.
Perfect. That's what we want. Let's see if we can up the cringe component.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see. It looks like this thing's going to work out okay. So I'm just going to use the StreamYard interface. And there's probably some way to tweet this out some more that I don't know. Boop, 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 boop.
I just shared it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Dean.
Alrighty. Are we going? Are we live?
Supposedly live.
All right.
Yay!
Yay. All right. Maybe Mark start us up then, since Chris is not here today.
There we go. Sorry, I'm gonna do one more post. Oh, maybe I won't. Hey, yeah, we'll just go. Hey, welcome to Boss Rush this week. We are Chris free, unfortunately this week,
Chrisless.
but we're Chrisless.
Christmas. We're missing Chris.
Christmas. We're Chris. That's how this one's gonna go. So, Dean and Susan and I are here to cover the week's news with you. We're excited, and we're using a new platform, so we'll see how that goes. And hopefully, if you make comments, we'll see them. But why don't we introduce ourselves first? I'm Mark Delora. I'm an old school game guy, mostly focusing on games and education these days. Dean?
Yeah, Dean Takahashi, lead writer for GamesBeat at VentureBeat. I also run the GamesBeat Summit events, and we got one coming up on May 19th and 20th in Los Angeles.
Awesome.
And I am Susan Cummings. I run a new indie studio called 10-6 Games. So I'm playing a lot in generative AI right now, and been in the industry many years like these two.
That's in the UK.
Yeah. In the UK, yeah. Where it's sunny, which is weird. I don't quite know what to make of it.
I think we should.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should start with the non-games thing, which is pretty weird. But the I guess the de-extinction of the dire wolf that Colossal Biosciences talked about this week.
They're really cute, aren't they? They look so adorable. Little puppies.
Yeah, they're like 5 months older now, I guess. But yeah, they're often some preserve in Texas. 2 dire wolves that I guess raised some controversy. I mean, like, there's a lot of people now started to wonder: should we be doing this? Should we be bringing back these sort of species that were lost from the ecosystem at some point? Like, if we bring them back, are they going to have some kind of strange impact on us? But the Colosso people, they've got tons of scientists. Their ambition is to try to prevent ecosystem collapse in the next 50 years, which is that we're expected to lose half of the living species that we have today in the next 50 years. And so humans have been the cause of most of the extinctions that have happened. And now they're trying to de-extinct these animals by genetic engineering, basically going out and finding fossils, retrieving the genes from those fossils, and then matching them up against something that is still living today, like a gray wolf in this case, and then inserting the genetics into uh, the mixture of the living wolves genetics, and then um, uh, putting them inside a dog and having the dog carry them to birth. And yeah, it's crazy. And these guys have raised $450 million for this, and their ultimate goal is to bring back the woolly mammoth. Now, a bunch of people have said, "Oh, these aren't really dire wolves. They're kind of just a version of the gray wolf, or they're a brand new thing, or they're kind of a dog, I guess." And so I think people are going to argue about the semantics of what to call these things, and that's interesting. But yeah, they are also going to look a whole lot like direwolves, as at least as we've seen them in Game of Thrones.
I'm glad you said that last bit. Like, Lee rolled his eyes at me as he left the room because he's like very like, come on, it's not a direwolf. It's like CRISPR genetics technology, and it's like it's a dog dressed up as a direwolf. But it's cool. But it's cool. But I'm with you. Like, isn't it nice that people are trying to do something like to give back to the ecosystem and nature as opposed to all the shitty things happening at the moment?
Yeah, unless they eat us.
I thought we were going to talk about the shitty things because Chris isn't here to say we can't. Everyone at work's going to hear me.
Anyway,
like uncensored.
Yeah, but
That would
I
be the
guess
not so dire wolf.
yeah, one of the reasons I bring it up, I mean, it is that crazy intersection of technology and science fiction. In this case, George R.R. Martin fantasy as well. That intersection is always a very fun territory to talk about, I think. It always also in some way comes back to gaming in some way, because gaming is such an intersection of so many things. So, cool stuff.
And what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great.
That's right. It's the story of Jurassic Park, Chapter 1 so far, right?
Until they start trying to breed like little miniature dinosaurs crossed with geckos. And they start eating us, but they're all like this high.
It
How cute.
just takes them a really long time to eat us.
Right, exactly.
Maybe hopefully they eat the cockroaches instead. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like
but they're really cute. The little puppy are just adorable. Like, Mark, I think you need one to add into. What do you think Bowser would think of a dire wolf?
Now we should get back to gaming.
All right.
What's our gaming news?
Gaming news. The only thing I can think about.
Can we talk about the dark bit of gaming news? Have you guys seen this No Remorse thing that has me absolutely horrified that Steam allowed this on there?
Oh no, I saw a bit of it. Why don't you give us a brief?
Well, it's gone from the store over here, at least in Europe, because the UK and Europe were understandably outraged. Like, look, I'm the first to not want to censor stuff, but it's like a rape incest simulator.
No,
like, unabashedly, it's bad. This is like, it's like Andrew Tate made a game. Like, I have a feeling it's someone like him behind it, because I don't know who they actually are, but it's really horrifying. Really, really horrifying. Bad. Like, I wouldn't even begin to know where to go into, like, what's apparently in it from what I quickly read, and then quickly averted my eyes to go away and pretend like I never saw it. But
yeah,
I think, is it gone entirely from Steam now, Dean, or is it only gone in Europe?
I didn't follow this, so I don't know. I didn't hear about it, but I saw that there were different groups protesting against it, but I didn't really look into this for covering it.
I guess it's part of the. I know that there's adult content on Steam and porn and things like that. So it's apparently within that section. But I mean, this is, a really misogynistic game. I guess there we go. That's the word I should be looking for.
Yeah, I don't know how long it was up there, but yeah, definitely more than a day for it to hit all the news. Mostly yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah. So
I'm trying to find a good link to the news story to get more details, but I'm failing so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called like Zagara Games or something. Like if you go to their website, which I would hate to promote, you can see what it is. Like that was the one place I could see what it was.
Yeah, that's pretty dark. I
Shit,
thought
did I
when,
just-
when you were talking about dark news, I thought you were going to talk about the tariffs affecting the Switch 2.
Yeah, it does that too.
So yeah, that's definitely going to cause massive disruption.
Now that they've been paused, what have they said? Has that changed anything as far as like Nintendo's stance?
Well, I mean, they do have a different kind of system for taking the pre-orders right now. So like, it is interesting. Like they were going to start pre-orders immediately, like around the third or so, and then they switched it to the 9th. And I was able to put in a pre-order on the 9th, and what they're going to do though is look back at your online history for your Nintendo Switch account. So you have to be logged in order to do the pre-order. And then if you've been very, very active, then they're going to prioritize your pre-order to the top of the, head of the line, because they don't want scalpers to get all of the first units. And so they're really going to try to sell it to real Nintendo fans who have played a lot and have that play history, and then and so try to get them out in a way that doesn't foster a lot the things that have happened in the past with the scalpers, right? So
that's
twice the
quite
price
cool.
or something.
All right.
But of course, I guess you don't know exactly. Yeah, right now you probably don't know exactly what price you're going to pay. It's still supposed to come out and ship on June 5th, but by then, who knows how the tariffs actually affect you. So right now the pre-order your pre-order goes in, but you don't get a price.
Yeah, over here in Europe, I had an invite-only pre-orders open now thing that said it's £395.99 or £429.99 if you want Mario racing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have a price in Europe for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be $450 in the US and $500 for the Mario Kart game. But who knows what it's actually going to.
Cheeto Man's getting in the way of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a bit strange. There was some employment news from Amir Satvat again, where he was, predicting a certain rate of layoffs that would happen in 2025, and that we were likely to be trending towards 9,769 layoffs in 2025. But the good news is that the layoffs so far this year have been slower than that, and they're only at a rate now of 6,145 per year. So definite slowdown in the layoff rate is happening.
That's great.
Across the world. So that's good.
That's really great. Yeah. I'd be curious to know how much of what does he have a stat about what employment looks like and what unemployment looks like in the industry right now? Because I'm very curious to see.
Overall, his estimate of how many people work in the game industry directly is about 243,000, and that's worldwide, and it doesn't include people who are sort of in the adjacent industries like I don't know, mobile marketing or companies or something like that, right? So it sounds smaller than some numbers that have been talked about in the past, like 300,000, but he thinks that those numbers include the indirect jobs as well.
I wonder, because I'm seeing such a trend of people forming small studios, of new indie studios cropping up. And so I kind of wonder, I guess it'd be a hard thing to say, how much of the industry is looking for work? What's the percentage look like? And how many, I'd love to know what percentage of people who lost their job in the last year are part of something new, as opposed to getting a new job, as opposed to being unemployed. It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, I think there is some there's definitely a structural change that has happened in the game industry in the last 10 years where all the external development companies are around now and becoming pretty massive. Like, so Keywords has 13,000 people and Virtuous has 4,000. There's quite a few other companies out there like Amber and Blind Squirrel. And so, how well that's accounted for, I don't really know. But it's an extra layer in there. Like, as an example, I think somebody counted how many external development studios contributed to Call of Duty this year, and it was about 40. So
Jesus,
that's pretty crazy.
Bowser thinks so too.
He's very upset.
Can we? You should just sell a track of that as white noise. Like, I want to like sleep to Bowser.
I can share it. Boss Rush Special Edition. Bowser Snore. I have it live, so I haven't recorded it. Oh, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I was just looking around at the news from this past week and saw that there was a big long interview with Bowser from Nintendo.
That Washington Post one, or
I think that's right. Yeah. It was like, well, it was a video one. It was like 20 minutes long. It's the thing where he talked about tariffs a bit. I'm just like catching up with that right now, thinking.
Yeah. Sadly, I couldn't reach Bowser myself. Yeah.
I'll drive over there and knock on the door and be like, "Hey, hello."
Yeah. Mark will be our on the scene correspondent.
Exactly.
So I was in London twice over the last week. I don't usually get in that often for the London Game Festival.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, last week. Oh, I think I did talk about it last week that I went to last week, but I went back again. There was a thing called the VIP 100 on Monday, which I felt a bit weird about the fact that it's called a VIP 100.
You're a VIP. What are you saying?
But it was a lot of fun. It was really well done. Lee Ma from Tencent kind of curates it, as he likes to put it, and they invite 100 people, and apparently it changes each year who gets invited to it to try to keep an interesting mix. And there's some lunch and some chit chat, and there was a debate, and the debate was really fun. Actually, it was like a very formal, structured debate. It was the woman who runs Us Two, Maria, and the guy who runs CCP versus Christian Segestrail, and I don't remember the other guy's name. It was an analyst. And so the topic this year, it was an odd topic. It was a strange topic because it became very much a semantics topic. Was whether the industry needs more technology or more creativity to evolve and progress. And it was very hard. It was very chicken and egg, There were discussions. Is the iPhone's technology or is it creativity? Christian was hilarious. He was very much the showman of the thing. I will say that creativity won in the end. There was a weird point in the middle where technology started to edge, but eventually it ended up sensibly back at.
Were there 50 people left at the end, like physical 100 or
We had to
100?
vote during it. We voted at the start. We voted after the presentations, and there was the rebuttals, and then we voted at the end. And so you could watch in real time. It was kind of a fun structure.
I like that. That's great.
It might be interesting to consider for the Crossfire. I thought it was really
interesting.
It was very playful and fun.
We didn't have an actual vote from the audience.
It was cute. It was all done by a QR code. And then the amusing bit was when it turned to like a cocktail thing, but it was 4:00 because the thing was ending at 5, and there were a lot of Americans in London. Suddenly, there are a lot of people wanting to move here. I guess suddenly, loads of people were expats. Yeah. It was shocking how many people were American, and all the Americans were like, "Wait, it's 4:00. We can't drink wine yet." Like,
welcome to Europe. Yep. Oh my god, it reminds me of ECTS. back when I used to go to ECTS.
Was it a pretty crowded festival? I guess.
It was, yeah. It seems like it's gone really well this year for London Game Festival. There's a finance market thing. They had some new stuff that they've implemented. It seems like London's very excited. Whether it's true or not that the UK is the third biggest market hotbed now for game development is debatable, but it's exciting to see so much excitement. And apparently at GDC, the ambassador to America for the UK called the game industry the crown jewel of the UK, which is really, so there's just a lot of enthusiasm and exuberance about the industry over here right now, and a lot of effort by the Labour government to support that, which is cool.
Great.
Thanks.
More tax incentives, more grants, and things like that. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah. I'm heading to Brazil at the end of the month for the Gamescom Latam big festival.
Awesome.
And
That's cool.
they're expected to draw more than 100,000 people. So it's kind of more like a PAX or a Gamescom kind of fan event. But they have a pretty big B2B conference there as well, and moderating some
That's
sessions.
wild.
And a moderated session with Shu Yoshida, and another one with Hank Rogers, and
Oh, geez.
a couple more other people, I think, too. And it's interesting to see, just big gatherings outside the U.S. that are starting to become, more front and center, I think, for the industry.
Yeah, which is just great from a perspective of having a global market for games and having ideas come from everywhere. But also just the past couple of months, it's just a lot of pushback about having events in the U.S. that are global events. So.
On other news, we have the Minecraft movie debuted on Friday, and it's now at seven days of box office, and it's 343 million.
That's fantastic.
I gotta go see that. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'll be the only adult with no kids in the audience.
So you might want to wait till it calms down. Apparently, it's pretty nuts with the kids in the audience.
Perfect.
That's it, right?
That's totally how it would go. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how the second weekend goes, because the first 2 days really generated 300 million in box office, and now it's only at 343, but that might be kind of normal for the weekdays. But we'll see how strong it stays, because it came out at a rate that was the biggest movie of the year so far, biggest game movie ever. So it came out at a faster rate than the Super Mario Brothers movie, which wound up being 1.3 billion overall. So
that's great.
Yeah, so good for gaming, I think, in general, to see all these things go well. And then there's a whole lot happening on this front of game related entertainment. So on Sunday we get the first episode of season 2 of The Last of Us, right? And then yesterday a whole new season of Black Mirror dropped on Netflix, and there's I got to look at the episode number 7, which is called Playthings, or Plaything, and they built a game based on this story as well, called Thronglets, and it's like a life sim game for these cute little creatures, but it figures it totally matches up against the episode, and the episode has like one of the main characters, the bad game developer from Bandersnatch in it. So this guy Colin Rittman comes back as here's my new game, and turns out to be this odd life sim. So it's pretty good episode, and the game is going to be interesting to see whether that gets much attention for Netflix.
Yeah, I'm excited to go try that.
8-bit simulation game.
Nice. Did you hear that Netflix also got the license for Peppa Pig, and they're going to make a game based on Peppa Pig? Oh. Do you know what Peppa Pig is?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just came out this past week. It's this news. I was super excited because that when they at GDC, Alain Tascan mentioned that kids'
Mhm.
games was going to be one of the pillars moving forward for Netflix games. I was like, well, what does that mean? And then, this
Mhm.
past week, they're like, well, we got Peppa Pig, and we're making a game based on that. I was like, holy cow, that was a great move. Good job.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's
our franchise.
another Hasbro deal, like the
Mhm.
Monopoly Ghost
Oh,
Dog
yeah.
thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, good play.
Let's see, and then we have Until Dawn is coming out at the end of the month as well as a movie in the theaters. So
Oh,
that's the movie version of the, what was it, 2016 game, I think, that came from Sony, and it's one of those sort of eight teenagers are stuck in a big house in the woods, and you have to see who can survive until dawn.
oh my god! I think they were trying to make this game for a really long time. That you've said that, I'm like, oh my god! I think I saw pictures for that.
Yeah, it was I have to go
What's
back
it called
and-
again?
Until Dawn. And let's see, it was one of my most popular stories ever, where I wrote about, I got to play this game a couple of times before it came out.
Oh, it's super
So-
massive. Okay.
Yeah, super massive. And then I had this 10 tips for surviving the night in Until Dawn, and
Nice.
evidently I was the go-to source for tips on that game. And yeah, it was very popular. So it was one of those games that got me really hooked on the Supermassive games.
Oh, nice.
So I've played most of those over time.
Awesome.
Horror, of course, but yeah, there's that. We have Minecraft movie now. We have. And they announced an Angry Birds 3 movie is coming as well. So Sega and Rovio are beating that horse.
Wow.
So
I wonder
now I
what's,
missed-
wonder what's next.
Yeah, like there's Angry Birds movies. I guess I missed that one.
yeah.
Ah.
Third one. Yeah. So
All right, I guess you can watch. Yeah, glad to hear it. I mean, I love the fact that there's all this transmedia plays. Games going to movies, movies going to games. More of that.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Shannon Loftus taking over the IGDA Foundation? That's pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
I
Oh.
wrote a story on her too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the new chair of the IGDA Foundation, and taking over from Ed Fries, who's retiring from that spot after a couple of years.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Shannon left Microsoft. Was it 3 years ago now? And she's getting involved in various nonprofit efforts, and this is
Fantastic.
one of those. She was running the Age of Empires studio by the time she left Microsoft.
Yep.
And I think she contributed to something like 70 games in her career.
Yeah, amazing, right?
That's excellent.
Yeah.
She looked too relaxed last time I saw her, so I'm glad she finally is gonna do some work again. She's here in Seattle. She's great. That's such a great person to run the organization. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
To see that.
There was another interesting thing where UT Austin and their communications school, the Moody School of Communications, launched this Karch Gaming Institute, and it was set up based on a $5 million donation from Matt Karch, who's the CEO of Saber Interactive. So they're going to be studying gaming things and a lot of, I think, convergence with film, broadcast, and other media as well with games. So that's pretty awesome.
Like that.
Mhm.
And reboot. No one's going to reboot next week, right? I don't think any of us are going to.
No, I'm not going this year. Yeah, I did
went
go
last
for the
year,
last
right?
couple of. Yeah, I did go for the last couple of years. It's a very good conference for sure.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
Pretty-
they
very
had
pretty.
had thousands of people going at this point, and they've run something like 6 different stages. It's in a beautiful hotel right outside Dubrovnik, and Dubrovnik itself is the Game of Thrones city. So
That'd be perfect.
yeah, very, very highly recommend conference.
Yeah, I should have gone. One of these years, I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. So let's see. I think I talked about it last time, but when I was in New York, I went to the IAB Playfronts conference, and they mentioned in the keynote speech, which is for this conference focused on brands and gaming, that game companies right now, or games only have about 5% of the ad budgets around the world, and all of the brands that came to this event to sort of are catching on to the fact that gaming is the biggest form of entertainment, and it's where you can find the youngest generation, in particular, like Gen Z. And there are often places like Minecraft and Fortnite and Roblox, and they're not going to traditional TV. They're not going to other places where they might otherwise see brand advertising. So the brands are in a state of panic at the moment, but they're rushing into games and very optimistic about it. And like, what was interesting to me about that is that, like, it's that's on the excitement side of things, whereas in the game industry itself, a lot of game developers have been feeling sort of downtrodden. Like the last 2.5 years have been so awful. So many layoffs that have happened. And so you have this contrast of the game developers feeling so pessimistic, and the brands so optimistic. And so I think there's a different perspective that people can have when they're looking at this industry and going like, well, this industry by comparison to all the other industries, this is an awesome industry.
Are we going to go through another renaissance of ad-based games like Burger King games?
God, I hope not.
Yeah, well, we actually are seeing some interesting signs of, like, there are, like, say, companies like Zynga, for example. The ad side of the revenue keeps on growing, right? And then there's this company called Phind, PHYND, which has raised $10 million to go after the market for an ad-supported free cloud gaming service. So their assessment is that the costs of doing cloud gaming have come down enough, and the reliability of the network is strong enough that you can actually support a business like this through advertising, give it away for free. So see how that goes.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chris has opinions about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they're likely to use something like AWS.
AWS, yeah, probably right.
And I guess it just depends on how much money they can actually pass back to developers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mobile free, really,
Yeah. And AWS has done an interesting thing itself, where they let the game developers now directly post their games onto a cloud gaming service, right? And so they don't have to go through one of the big services, but now you can directly get a game up and start generating revenue directly for yourself. So that's good.
Yeah. I think that at least anecdotally, what I'm noticing is I think everyone's realizing that there's just some fundamental economic things that have been broken that are fixable. The developers spending too much money for a very small market. Like, you see some of these indie Steam games, even the ones that you don't have to be Balatro to be successful on Steam. Like, if you keep your costs down, you can find a niche audience and do reasonably well. And so I think a lot of it's too much money flooded into the industry, so budgets became too big, and then it just doesn't make any economic sense.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that we're all starting to get that message.
Yeah, we're still graduating way too many people into the game industry.
And
you've got to
companies
find
that are
more
too
places
big.
for that.
Yeah.
I think
Or smaller companies,
I think definitely that's part of the pain, is that, like, say, there's just too many developers chasing after the pie that is not growing as much as, say, workforce is, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's been a challenge, and that has to be, say, sort of right sized in some way.
Or their costs are too high for the slice that they can get. You know,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
is valid as
Yeah.
well. Like I know
So
of teams who've released games, indie games,
mhm.
where it wasn't so bad. You know, they have users and stuff like that. But if you spend 3 million, 4 million, 5 million on a Steam game, you need a lot of users to make the economics of that work. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that's like, if you can keep those costs down to something realistic, then it doesn't take such a big hit to
Yeah.
see revenue.
Yeah. There are a couple other,
Yep.
say, esports items for news here this week too. The Saudis, the esports World Cup people, announced that they're going to have a prize pool of $70 million this year for the esports World Cup that takes place
Wow.
across more than a month in Riyadh, and that's $10 million more than they had last year. As the prize pool. So they're still all in on esports, and that's survival money for esports, really, to continue in a viable way. And then there was another startup that I wrote about, led by this guy Clinton Sparks, who was kind of a music guru and a DJ in the hip hop space, and he produced records for other people that sold more than 80 million copies over time, including Lady Gaga. And so he started this thing called the Global Gaming League, which is going to have Las Vegas-based events where teams that are owned by celebrities will compete for esports prizes, competition, tournaments, and so like T-Pain has a team, and he's going to go up against something like Jessica Alba's team, stuff like that. so they're going, yeah. So there's why the audiences may be small for watching the live events in Las Vegas. The fact that the celebrities are going to be like in every show or every event means that they're going to get some real media attention for these events. And so that's Clinton's sort of bet here, that this kind of combination of say entertainment, gaming, esports is going to actually generate some real revenue. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a really interesting play. It reminds me of like, what was the karaoke show that they had with the celebrities going against each other? I totally forget. It was pretty entertaining. Like, all right, yeah, it does seem like esports is, well, at least in the U.S. I mean, I miss seeing it. Actually, I wish it was still as prominent as it was. We had an event, like the Valve event was here in Seattle for a few years, and they would take over Seattle Center and the arena, and that was always
the two events.
Yeah. What was it called? The International?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, there's still some very big things like the League of Legends championships, but it's only been held. The finals have only been held here once in San Francisco. I got to go to that a couple of years ago, and that was a lot of fun. But I think they're doing it in, I think, China this year. So there are places in the world where esports is extremely strong. Say China and the Middle East are
right.
come to mind, right?
And
we still have DreamHack though, like DreamHack in Dallas is always pretty big event. So, but yeah, it's not in every city across the nation like the way they expect it.
It makes me sad. I think when it was being hyped up, I didn't really watch it that much, but I did watch it some, and I definitely watched it more than I watched normal sports. So now I'm like, I got to find a way to plug back into that. I'm sure it's still going on, and I'm just not aware of it. But that's what's great about the game industry right now. There's like you were saying, Susan, there's so many nooks and crannies, so many different subgenres of things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely the Saudis through ESL and different acquisitions they made, face it, have big belief that esports is going to pay off in the long run and be just like traditional sports. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Well, there's one piece of news that I sort of been staring at and didn't quite know how to interpret, but I'll mention anyway. So the ESA came out in support of this thing called the Take It Down Act. Have you heard about this?
You know,
No. So it's so here in the U.S. It's a bill. I feel like I need to look through this and see exactly what it talks about. We cannot go another day when teenage girls are victimized by adult offenders and classmates left feeling helpless with no recourse. So I think maybe it's about AI, like deep fakes and things like that, non-consensual intimate images. Yeah, that sounds right. So getting approval to like legally have to take things down on the internet. So I think that the ESA has come out in favor of this. I think there's been a conversation of sort of fear around the Take It Down Act because, well, it has positive effects. Of course, nobody wants like porn images made of them and posted on the internet. It also has chilling effect because you can take it down, just like the MCA, right? It can be used poorly.
yeah.
I think for me, this is posted on the ESA's LinkedIn profile. They posted their letter in support of it, and I was just interested to see the ESA take a stand on any current legislation, given the political climate in the U.S. right now. I was like, oh, that's interesting, just to see because there have been a few things that I've been wondering if they would like get involved with, and I haven't seen a message of support from them, and I think I can understand it because they're trying to ride a line and represent their constituents properly, and this is a very bipartisan push, it looks like. So
Yeah.
Anyway, check it out. Take It Down Act.
That's interesting. Let's see. There were other small game things that happened. The folks at Reburn, they used to be 4A games in Ukraine, and they had split, like say during the start of the war, with a studio that was also 4A games in Malta. And so the Malta company is going to continue with, say, things like the Metro franchise, Metro 2033. And Reburn now has set an April 25th launch date for an original IP that they've made called La Chimera. And it's a first-person shooter game coming out on PC on Steam. And very good-looking game. And they're essentially a AAA studio. They made all the Metro games, and they've got this AAA FPS set in Latin America.
Nice.
So, very interesting title, I think. It looks like you're sort of like super soldiers coming in to fight a bunch of robots. So looks like very, very beautiful, trailer and all that. So there's that. Another company called Twin Sails Interactive spun out of Asmodee as an indie game studio. It's kind of more of the, say, I guess, unraveling of Embracer. Yeah. So these folks are going off on their own, making their own indie games now. I think that was a long process for them. And then Sony started selling its Zine and Mokopi tools for developers to sort of immediately capture reality in real time and then translate that into a virtual environment live.
Like an AI tool?
That's cool.
Like an AI tool? Machine learning sort of tool?
It's focused on spatial content, really. So if you're making, say, metaverse-like applications or just anything they have like this 12 sensor system. They put it on an actor and capture that actor's performance, and you can essentially do this high quality mocap without a mocap studio. So very interesting way to do mocap. It's like a $1,180 kit for the Mocopi capture sensors, and they figure they can save game developers like $1,000 a month at least. So.
You're saying all sorts of words, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Mocopi and zine. Okay, can you spell one of these?
Well, XYN is how they spell it, and that's the brand name.
XYN. That was not going to be my guess. There it is.
Mocopi is the it's the say mocaps or sort of short for that. I
peripheral. I don't
know. It's like for what they call motion gaming.
Huh. Yeah. All right. So these are strap-on accelerometers, sensors for body tracking. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so it's outside in, not inside, or inside out, not outside in. So it's not tracking cameras; it's tracking positions on your body. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, it's kind of consumer priced. Well, it'll be, we should they should talk up somebody who's using this.
They're shipping this month. They do have a number of studios that have said they're using them, but there's no word yet from PlayStation. So this is Sony Electronics that's come up with these tools, and they have not announced whether PlayStation is using these things. So I think a lot of this is, say, relevant for XR people in particular. And Sony does not seem, PlayStation does not seem to have been doing a lot of reinvesting into the PSVR 2 yet, right? So
got it. Okay.
See how this turns out.
That's super interesting. Yeah, more stuff like that. Good experiment. Seems like a lot of sensors. It's, definitely more useful for a game developer. But, okay, cool, interesting.
And Storycraft is another social AI game company that wants to turn players into creators, and they raised $3 million. They announced that today through us. So it feels like there's a lot of UGC and AI game companies out there, and they're speeding along. We'll see which one of those takes off.
$3 million. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then I did an interview with Jessica Lindell from Unity. She's like head of growth there now. She used to be head of social impact, but she wrote a book called The Career Game Loop. And it's very interesting topics that she gets into there about like how job seekers should position themselves and seek out job opportunities and essentially create their own work, create their own job types, and be flexible and adapt throughout their careers. So like she doesn't say you shouldn't go to college, but she does say that you shouldn't just focus only on 4 years of learning, right? That your career game loop is really reinventing yourself every time for a new job or a new job type. Like she herself said she's had 3 different completely unrelated jobs at Unity. And, that process has been useful for herself, but also then as you get into these times where you can run into roadblocks in one particular type of job, then you should consider sort of going around these roadblocks and finding a different kind of job. So adaptation is sort of essential according to her. She's kind of like she knows Amir Satvat, and sort of synchronizes a lot with his messages about how to get jobs in the game industry. Things like Amir is supporting are getting jobs that are adjacent to games, while you're really looking for your dream job inside games. Right? So, very very interesting book, and it's not just for game career people. It's actually something that's broader. Anybody looking for a job, really, can think about how to learn how to get a job this way.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I wondered about that. And Jessica ran Glass Lab, the games and learning assessment back in the day. So I knew her a lot from back then. I saw her come out with this and was very curious to see her evolution at Unity. And she was doing some really good work with the social impact group. But I know as Unity was kind of shrinking down, I think there were some changes in the way that they were investing their cash. So that's interesting to hear that she's gone in this direction. Boy, it definitely resonates with me as far as like game industry stuff. You've got to remain nimble. The industry keeps changing, and if you want to keep making things that you love, you got to be willing to go pay attention to the winds a little bit.
It goes to full on studios too. That sort of resilience and adaptability, I think, is key to survival.
Yeah. It seems like the best studios are really, really good at that. Like I always think of Shell Games as being like a great studio that is super clever about moving between entertainment-focused stuff and education-focused stuff, doing VR, doing like getting involved with location-based entertainment. Just smart people.
Flexibility. Yeah.
Yep.
And we have our list of speakers up today. Just posted that at 10 a.m.
You do. Awesome.
Excellent.
Speakers for GameSpeak Summit 2025 on May 19th and 20th at the Marina Del Rey Marriott. Yay.
Yay.
Hey.
Yeah. We got
Who are you
the
hyped
Unity
about?
CEO coming back, Matthew Bromberg, and then
Awesome.
Mitch Lasky, the benchmark and investment guru, coming too. And, so it should be fun.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yay.
I kept seeing this week. I kept seeing Shu and other people hype up this game Blueprints, and I think that launched yesterday. I haven't tried it yet.
What is that?
It's unclear. It's a strategy puzzle adventure game.
Yeah, it's Blueprints, but it's kind of like what is it?
Blueprints, Prince.
Yeah, a clever way of saying blueprint.
Didn't occur to me.
Blueprint is actually relevant because it's an architectural game, right? And
okay.
What you do is go into this this mansion and then explore the rooms in the mansion, but they're always changing. They're always sort of shifting, and it's almost like a Winchester Mystery House kind of thing, where
very cool.
Just all of these sort of weird architectural things get mashed into one mansion, and then these randomized cards just kind of change the architecture right off the bat. And you're trying to reach a hidden room, and a lot. It's come out with 9 out of 10 stars. Lots of different publications.
All right, I'm gonna have to try it.
Pretty interesing indie game.
It'll go on my list this week.
Raw Fury is the publisher.
That's cool.
Yeah, Raw Fury is the publisher. Doggy Bomb is the
Doggy Bomb.
And then it's on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Windows.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
legit. I thought it was a tiny game. Oh, it's on PS5 too. Woof. Not that tiny. As opposed to the game which I'm playing now, which is a game about digging a hole. It cost me $4.
Oh, I heard about the digging a hole game.
I played it for like an hour yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna do this more later, and it just reminded me of Cookie Clicker is what it reminded me of. I'm like, I'm clicking on this and clicking on this, and then I'm gonna upgrade this thing. So now when I click, it does more. Oh, now I'm gonna upgrade this thing. So now when it's just like, those things just suck me in. So it's like the physical.
Let's say you've gotten sucked into the Pavlovian response there.
Yeah, exactly. Cookie Clicker crossed with Minecraft. Anyway, yeah, that's what I'm playing.
I went back to Call of Duty Warzone last week because they came out with the original map of Verdansk, which they started with back in 2020, and
Oh my gosh.
everybody loved that map and knew that map and played it over and over. People got tired of it, and so they started switching to new maps, but none of them was ever as good as the Verdansk map. And so I played again. I went through like two dozen different games. I didn't win. Like the best game I had was third place. And then I went and played with my friends some, and they took me into the Warzone casual map, where most of the 150 players in there are bots, and there's a certain number of real players, and then the bots are much easier to kill. So I got 7 kills in this game.
It's the feel good map.
Yeah, and then it comes down to like just a handful of human teams all fighting for first place, and so the very first game we went into, we got first place, right? And so
nice.
It's like a much more sort of rewarding experience for players who are not so great.
That sounds perfect. I love it.
Yeah. So I think that's actually a good thing that it might draw some people in to
yeah, that's a good idea.
Zone.
Yep. What are you playing, Susan?
Nothing else new. I've been too busy this week.
Yeah.
Still got a little bit of Balatro. Not much else.
I see you've settled on Balatro, not Balatro.
I keep changing the name. I know. I don't think I played anything else. At least still playing Marvel Rivals is all I'm hearing about.
Oh yeah. Mary Beth.
He's
finally
obsessed
got
with
Balatro.
It's a massive, patch all day for Marvel today.
Patch all day, really? It's just like huge.
Yeah, massive patch. Yeah, hours of time. Maybe that's more of a commentary on our broadband than the game. But.
Oh, that's sad.
We're supposed to have full fiber, and it's been like supposed to for weeks now, and it's still saying no. So I'm getting annoyed. Yeah, still on part fiber.
You're still on what?
On part fiber, we get like 80 megabit. It's like nothing compared to what we were getting. If we lived a block away from where we are,
Yeah, I hear you. We have no fiber here on this one block.
Comcast is rolling out low latency gaming across its whole network.
Really? That's cool.
I think you have to upgrade to a new set-top box, but over the cable network now, this gaming that prioritizes, or the network that prioritizes gaming is actually
for a small upcharge.
Yeah, pretty cool. So,
I bet that's what I'd do. $10 a month more. Here we go. Yeah, they upgraded our upstream, and we have Comcast here. We have no fiber here. We have Comcast cable, but it's 2 gigs down. I mean, if I had network that would support 2 gigs down, I would be getting 2 gigs down. I'm getting 900 megs down, which I'm not going to cry about.
Nice. Well, the this upgrade too is happening without a price increase. Like it's going into the network for free, essentially, for existing subscribers.
Why would they do that? That's curious.
Well, I think they do want to stay competitive against any other type of competition out there. I think they're also probably waiting for net neutrality to really end under the Trump administration. I think before they would, sort of consider rolling out big investments in the network this way. So, who knows, really what's behind it, but gamers are going to benefit.
Yeah, that's good. You should do it before and after. Do some like latency testing with speed test or something.
Speed test, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take the trouble to call the company to get my new set-top.
Yeah. Tell them you're gonna do a review of it too, so they get hyped and give it to you.
Well, they're I think they give these out anyway. They don't they don't charge for the set box unless it's some super duper upgrade or something. But so you just ask for a new. You ask for a new one, but you also sign up for whatever plan you do at the same time.
Okay. Well, you'll have to let us know if you get better suddenly at sniping people in Warzone. Well, shoot. Here we are at 10:30.
Yeah.
We're at the hour. Yeah.
Rambled our way through some news.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a week here in the U.S. Susan, you're lucky not to have to deal with it.
Telling you, come on in. The water's fine over
I
here.
know. Don't tempt me.
The world markets aren't so fine, but
Yeah,
That's true.
That's
That is
but,
absolutely true. Yeah. Sadly, no fault of ours. That is true.
Yep. America catches a cold. The world gets sick.
Yeah.
No, is that backwards? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's always
All right.
lovely to see the two of you on a Friday morning. It's a good way to kick off my day. So thanks for joining us on here. And anybody who stuck with us till the end,
Have a
thanks
great
for
weekend, everybody.
listening in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good weekend. Play lots of games.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.